Hello, my loves. So, we do have something serious that we have to talk about today. Let's talk about journaling because the thing is, journaling is so important. And if you are not even giving journaling a chance, you definitely should. Like, this is the video for you. So in this video, we're going to talk about what exactly is journaling, what are the importance and the benefits of journaling, and then also to the kinds of journaling because they are not all the same. And because I like to talk a lot, we may also do a little razzle dazzle in there where I just talk about my favorite things about journaling. But that's toward the end, girl. You don't got to worry about that. So in the meantime, first things first, let's talk about what is journaling. So before you write off journaling, please just know that journaling is a tool that people use to record things, to set goals. It could be for food, it could be for your emotions, it could be for your feelings, it could be for memories, anything. It is basically a record that you are putting on pen to paper. Now, it don't even have to be pen and paper, which we'll get into later in the video. Journaling looks, again, completely different, but it serves as a record for you to be able to reflect on, to be able to look back at. But I want you to remember that at the end of the day, journaling is what you decide it to be. So I hope that was simple enough of what journaling actually is, but let's talk about those benefits and those importances. So first things first is that journaling helps you be able to reflect. You have the ability to look back on things and to see how you felt in real time about them, if that is how you set up your journal and how you record your emotions. Because guys, have you ever looked back on something and thought to yourself, oh no, like in that moment I was very happy, or oh, it wasn't that bad, and then you realize if you had looked back in real time what you were feeling, your emotions wasn't saying that. You were not saying that. It was actually probably worse than you remembered it. Or on the flip side, it was actually better than what you remembered it. So with journaling, it's so good to be able to just reflect and look back in what you thought in real time to give you like an accurate recollection of what was going on at the time. You know what I mean? And my second point just goes back to my first one a little bit, of you just having the ability to look back at what you have put down and there is a record of it concisely or consistently, if that is your goal. Because some people write in a journal, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. But some people write in a journal and they don't want to look back. It's just something for them to kind of like throw up on the paper right then and there instead of looking back on it. But the perk is that you have the ability to look back. There is a record, and records can be very important. And then point number 3, it holds you accountable and you are able to look back. Because guys, have y'all ever had the feeling of like when you write something on paper, that's when it truly becomes official. Like, because now it's on paper, like you can look back at it. The pen has written down, you see some of the writing on the other side of the paper, like it is truly out there. And I think also too, what makes it so official is that when you are writing something, it actually takes effort to write something, right? Like you have to think of that sentence in your head, you have to form it the way that you want to convey it, and then you have to take the time. I don't know if you guys write a print or cursive, but just taking the time to actually write it down from your brain to your hand to that paper, something about it makes it official, and it holds people accountable for their thoughts, for their actions, whatever they're writing. It holds you accountable that you wrote that. And then there's point number 4, which is really my favorite point, I think, is that you can be unapologetically yourself. These are things that you can write about that you do not have to tell another soul if you don't want to. You know what I mean? There's no judgment there. This is just for you to be able to vomit your anxieties on paper, your stressors, and just really be able to process. Process is such an important word because it really helps us as people make meanings of the things that are around us, what's happening. It just gives you a beat. There's no assumptions. It's just sitting down and reviewing all the information, and then from there coming to this succinct decision making. So it also gives you a chance to be able to make decisions, and they don't have to be hasty decisions, if you know what I mean. You truly sit down and think about all your options as you're writing, because again, writing takes work, writing takes time. So by the time you're writing the things that you're thinking, you're also thinking other things and doing all this connection and things of that nature. And even if it's a bad thought or it's something that you wouldn't want to say out loud, this is the time when you are journaling that you could be unapologetically yourself and you do not have to tell other people what you're thinking about. So journaling is so important because it's all you. It's literally just you. No one has to know. Who's gonna know? Is that how it goes? Anyway. So that leads us to this last bit of the video where we're talking about the kinds of journaling you can do, because I don't know if y'all know, but there's more than one way to journal. And you probably have been doing these journaling formats before. You just probably didn't call it journaling. But then again, I don't know, because nowadays it almost seems like nothing is on pen and paper anymore. Like, put down in the comments below, guys, when's the last time you put pen to paper? And I'm talking about not signing no document. I'm not talking about like writing like a check, but truly just out of leisure, writing and putting something on paper. I'll wait. Anywho, let's talk about the types of journaling. So the first one is reflective journaling. This, I think, is more the traditional parts of journaling where you think about all the deep things about yourself or some sort of discovery that you're trying to make. Really intentional writing, I would say. This is not something that we're just like, I walked my dog today and then like I bathed my cat and like this person had said this. This is where most times people are digging deep. They're trying to have some sort of introspection or like reflection on themselves, really just deep diving into something and just unpacking emotions, trying to understand, meaning make, all of those things that really are going to impact you in the long run. This is the soul searching type of journaling. And then another form of journaling is daily journaling. So that is the one where typically you're talking about stuff that had happened in your day. It doesn't necessarily have to give meaning to like your overall life and who you are as a person and things of that nature, but it's just really just talking about your day as if you were talking to your friend, somebody that you just going through your day. It doesn't have to be too serious, but honestly, there is still a benefit to daily journaling because, if you think about it, for daily journaling, there's still stuff that happens in the day that can piss you off or like make you super happy or super sad that you just like need to get out and vent in the moment, right? But it doesn't contribute to the overall like being of you, your moral compass and the deep dive things. It's like, no, I was just annoyed today because I'm about to say I ordered a coffee and they gave it to somebody else and then I had to wait extra 10 minutes and then that made me late for work and all that stuff. That is for daily journaling where you can just sit and talk about certain things that happen in your day, if you know what I mean. And then there's art journaling. This is for the people that really love visual type of activities or just recordings. It doesn't have to be where you write things. Prime example, think of a vision board. That is like art journaling where you're recording things, you're putting down goals, you're making like sorts of interventions or like steps of how you're going to get those goals. That is what art journaling is on like a grand scale that people do maybe once or twice a year, but you can do it daily. You can do it every other month, anything like that. But art journaling is essentially where you're tapping into that creativity side. And you're not writing as much, but you are giving pictures or you're drawing to convey feelings, things of that nature. And then there's also visual journaling, which sounds like it could possibly be the same, right? But the thing is with visual journaling, this is where, yes, you can also get creative, but this could be something as small as like doodling, being able to just convey your emotions that probably you wouldn't be able to in words. Like, I like to think of it as like anime. You know, when you watch anime and they have all of these sort of expressions that don't really have a word or a saying to necessarily, but it's like, oh, like you see like the red meltdown face and like the like one little sweat tear and then like their eyes, and it just conveys this sort of emotion. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? I know that emotion. I felt that emotion before. Do I know what to call it? Probably not. And it really actually helps me think about, for me, guys, I work in the mental health field. Like when I work with certain clients that don't know what emotion they're feeling in the moment, like there's so many words in the English language that sometimes it's like, oh, like there are emotions outside of happy, mad, sad, glad. You know what I mean? there's frustrated, there's infuriated, there's devastated, there's sadness, there's upset, there is defeated. There's so many different emotions that sometimes you can't in the moment find the word for it. So that visual art, that doodling, for my gifted people out there, there's a way for you to journal and not have it be with writing. I think you get it at this point. I think I'm just rambling. So we're gonna go to the next one. So this one I've never necessarily done before, but there is the stream of consciousness journaling. So it's kind of like, guys, if everything or anything that you think in your mind, you're writing down in the journal. It really can be beneficial for people who possibly want to notice patterns in their thinking, like what they think, why they think it, to like review later. Now, I don't know how you can really do this as you're writing, because you write a whole lot slower than when you speak or how you think, I feel like. So maybe audio is the best way to do this, where you just talk about like whatever you're thinking about at the time. And not only does it get that emotion or tone that you're giving it at the time in real time when it's happening, but also too, it helps you like be able to hear like how your mind thinks and what you divert to when and whatever. And if you are trying to analyze, like you can go back and kind of look at those patterns. So whatever comes to your head is valid. Whatever comes to your head, that's what you say and that's what you write and that's what you mean, period. But no, that's stream of conscious journaling. Okay. Now we got two more. The second to last one is bullet journaling. Now, this is personally my favorite. Bullet journaling. This could be where you make any sort of list or just a short blurb or thought or anything like that you just put on a piece of paper or just put out there into the world. So like I said, this can be like your to-do list. This could be like just a feeling that you think of in the moment, anything where it's like, oh, you're just dropping it and kind of keeping it moving. And then the last one is gratitude journaling. And I'm sure you've heard of it before, but for gratitude journaling, it really just gives you the opportunity to think about the things that you're thankful for. It really kind of keeps you centered in the happy and celebrating what you do have. And I think that's really important. Now, I do want to put out there, after talking about all these journaling types, is that you also don't have to journal every day. Journaling is whatever you want it to be. And I know people really kind of ask, like, where do I start? Anywhere. There's so many guides out there and, things of that nature. But truly, if you just put pen to paper or voice to mic, or just anything, it's considered to be journaling. Like we talked about in the beginning, journaling is supposed to keep a record. It's supposed to be able to create goals for you and just a place and a space for you to be you. And as long as you have that in the journal, then who cares what the journal looks like? Besides, you should be the only one reading or being in your journal anyway, unless you give authorization or consent for somebody else to look at this journal. It is for you. So don't think that you're doing it a good way or a bad way, as long as it is to benefit you, because again, it's a venting space. It is a recording space. It is a private space. It is for you. And it actually even makes me think about, guys, did you know on Amazon they actually have a Wreck-It journal? And the Wreck-It journal on Amazon, literally each page tells you something to do to like ruin the journal and make the journal as nasty as possible. Like I saw some pages in there where they were like, oh, like take out this page, rip it up, put me in the soil, then take me out, put me back together. Some stuff, like I'm not going to say weird, but just like unconventional things that you can do with a journal that I thought were really cool, especially when I was working with individuals who probably struggled with anger. It probably felt good to like rip a page out of a journal or like, get some ash and really get in there. There's even self-prompting journals where they give you prompts so that you don't have to come up with your own thing to say. Like you don't always have to know what to say when you're writing your journal. There's ones that tell you what to write. Like I actually have a self-prompt journal. I got this from Five and Below. So I don't want to hear about you can't access no journal, because you can get them anywhere. 5 and below. This was, do you see this? I still got the sticker. $5 at 5 and below. This really just opens the prompts for me. It just asks like those remarkable questions, and I don't even have to come up with them myself. So there are so many ways and so many prompters or just guiders that can help you with journaling if you don't know where to start. But they're out there. So there's so many different ways to journal, long story short. So if you made it to this end of the video, now we're just going to talk a little bit about what I like about journaling. So if you don't care, then just thanks for watching this video. But if you do, and you just love to hear me talk like I do, what I love most about journaling. First things first is the viewing my progression over time. Y'all, I literally sat back a while ago and I looked at me writing today in 2024 and me writing in 2023 on that same day, 2022 on that same day, 2021 on that same day. And it was just so surreal. It was so surreal to see where I was then and how I felt like that was my forever and where I am now. And it also sometimes made me sad to think, hey, like, I'm starting to notice this pattern. Again, talking about patterns like we talked about before. I started to notice patterns about myself, certain things that I was still worried about over time, that I was still talking about. I'm like, girl, it's been 4 years. It's been 3 years. Why are you still talking about this? Is this something we want to change? Is this something we want to get rid of? Like, it was just very interesting to still, like, to be able to look back, even though it didn't feel like it in the moment. And you can make this like, oh, how did I feel last week versus this week sort of deal. But for me to have been journaling for so long and to be able to look back so, like, years, guys, like years, that was so enlightening. I honestly couldn't tell you how thankful I was in that moment to see where I was and to be proud of myself. And I know now that I was able to look back on all those years, I'm also able to take it with me going forward. Like, no, you can do this, or hey, that is something that you tend to do a lot. Do you want to keep that? It was enlightening. And I love the fact that I could look back over time to see where I was, you know? And then the second part that I love about journaling is just, once again, being able to analyze my emotions. I am a person who really feels like there's a lot of meanings to things, and I don't tend to overlook it. So I overanalyze a lot sometimes, but it's so beautiful to do, especially when I'm looking at myself, because if you don't understand yourself, like, who else is supposed to understand you? You know what I mean? And how are you supposed to communicate your emotions to someone if you don't understand who you are as a person? And that's why that's something I really love about journaling, is that you have the ability to overanalyze, or just analyze enough. It doesn't even have to be like an overanalyzation. It could just be in analyzation. If you feel me? You get what I'm saying? So especially like when you're going through stuff, you know, it's just so good to be able to just look at the nooks and crannies, especially when you're not I'm talking for myself, but like, especially when I'm upset or angry, just like anyone else, you tend to feel a particular way. But then once you're not angry anymore, or you're out of that like state of mind, you're looking like, girl, like, you didn't make no sense, or you was a little too angry. We're happy that we didn't act out in that moment, or whatever. You're not in your right mind, basically. So it's really helpful for me, like, when I look back and I'm reading stuff, I'm like, dang, that was harsh. Like, I really said that. I'm happy I said it to myself. I'm happy this was my safe place. No one's reading my journal. But I was just so happy to be able to go back and just analyze where I was, what I'm doing, how I am, all the good things. Okay. 2 more things, and then I'm going to shut up and you can click off this video. Having an uninterrupted thought. On my day-to-day when I'm journaling, I'm just able to have my thoughts and say them uninterrupted. It literally is just me like vomiting on the page of everything that I feel and what I'm thinking about. And it's just peace. It's about me. It's literally about me. So that is another thing that I love about journaling, is just uninterrupted thoughts. And then the last one for journaling is just, you never have to look back at what you said ever again. You never have to relive the things that you wrote on that paper ever again, hopefully. But it literally can just be a space where you put it down, you make it official, and then you just get rid of it. You do not have to go back. There's certain pages in my journal I'm just like, I don't think I want to read this anymore. I don't want to be back there. And you don't have to. It served its purpose in the moment for you getting it out, and that's it. Will I rip it out of my journal? Probably not. It'll probably just be there for like my great grandkids to be like, look at like what my great grandmother Ashley wrote and whatever. But it was just something that helped me get it out at the time. And I'm probably not going to go back. And that's okay. If you are a person where you're writing in your journal and then you never want to go back, that's okay. It's for you. All of this is for you. Guys, okay, so if you made it to the end of this video and you also listened to my rambling, I greatly appreciate it. I hope that it also brought some connections for you, that you feel the same way. Y'all tell me in the comments down below what type of journaling that you typically do, or if you learned anything from this video, just anything. I really love connections, so just chat it up with me. That's what I'm asking for, is for us to chat in the comments. But I just hope that you learned something from this video, because journaling is so important. And if us as people can journal more, I feel like we would be in a better place mentally. But yeah, journaling is just so important. So I hope that this video encouraged you to journal, and maybe even open the doors for you on like different types of journaling, and to know that you can do it. Journaling is what you make it to be, and it is for you. It is a wonderful tool for you. All right, so I'm going to shut up now. Make sure that you like and comment on this video, and if you enjoy this video, also make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I have lesson learns that I post every week. Your girl has been on it. I'm so proud of myself. But no, I just make sure that you subscribe if you like the vibe, if you like what you see here, because I am here for you guys and just making connections and talking about just daily mental health stuff that we all feel, we all go through. It's just not talked about enough. So, anywho, thanks guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.